Remain standing as Father Kramer leads us through tonight's invocation. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Sorry, Father. I just tried to be funny. I'm sorry. Let me know how else I can help you.
Dear Lord, I ask your blessing this evening on each of the members of the Lee County Board as they convene once again to carry out the business entrusted to them by the people of Lee County. May their discussions always show their respect for one another despite differing views, just as you dealt fairly with those who opposed you when you preached. May their decisions this evening represent the views of those who voted for them and always reflect values which will benefit the citizens of Lee County most appropriately. Help each member to be open to the wisdom shared by other members on given issues, and help members to debate issues based on the merits of differing points of view. Finally, we thank you for the basic freedom we have here to be able to meet freely and debate openly the issues which affect us and will have an effect on us in the future. Being aware that this freedom is not given to many around the world, we begin our work with the issues which face us this evening. God bless America and Lee County. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Father. Nancy, will you please call the roll?
Acree.
Here.
Allen. Bivens.
Here.
Book.
Here.
Friel.
Here.
Gascoigne.
Here.
Hudson.
Present.
Copine.
Here.
Minimi.
Present.
Naylor.
Present.
Pearson.
Present.
Robertson.
Present.
Sheline.
Here.
Shippert.
Here.
Scrogstead.
Here.
White. Here. Wilson. Zeman.
Here.
Olson. Kitson.
Present. Thank you. I would ask everybody to either please turn off or mute your cell phones through this meeting, please. And there is more seating in the back room for those of you who are standing if you need seats. It's nice to see a nice turnout of people interested in county government and how things take place. We appreciate it. Approval of board minutes from June 22nd, 2023, the regular county board meeting. If there's no changes or corrections, the minutes will stand as presented. Okay, minutes will stand. Monthly resolutions. We have one Joseph Meyer resolution, Woodhaven parcel number 13-21-12-238-046. Is there a motion to approve the Joseph Meyer resolution, parcel 13-21-12-238-046? Mr. Friel, Mr. Sheline, seconds. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We do? I'm sorry. We have to do a roll call out. I apologize. Missing my own notes. Apologize. Will you call the roll call, Nancy?
Friel.
Yes.
Gascoigne.
Yes.
Hudson.
Yes.
Kitson.
Yes.
Copine.
Yes.
Minimi.
Yes.
Naylor.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Robertson.
Yes.
Sheline.
Yes.
Shippert.
Yes.
Scrogstead.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Zeman.
Yes.
Acree.
Yes.
Bivens.
Yes.
Book.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, zoning and planning monthly report. Included in your packet is a monthly report from zoning and planning with an overview of their office activities, including zoning petitions. Are there any questions regarding that report? Okay. B, we have two petitions going to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Number one is petition 23-P-1615. Petitioner John Hilliker, parcel number 06-09-23-300-006. Special use to operate the business from property with one on-site employee. Is there a motion to move petition 23-P-1615 to the Zoning Board of Appeals? Mr. Mimini and Mr. Copine seconds. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number two, excuse me, petition 23-P-1616, petitioner Wiggins Solar LLC, parcel number 18-08-11-400-014, special use for solar energy system, South Dixon Township. Is there a motion to move petition 23-P-1616 to the Zoning Board of Appeals? Mr. Scrogstead, Mr. Copine seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries with one. Pardon? Not sure. But motion carries. Okay. We have no petitions going to the Planning Commission. But we do have 5 petitions coming from the Zoning Board of Appeals, all with corresponding resolutions. Number one, petition 23-P-1610, petitioner HTIMS LP, parcel number 10-13-14-301-006, map amendment from R2 Single Family Residential District to C2 Planned Office Business District for small sales, service, and repair in Harmon Township. Is there a motion to approve the resolution for petition 23-P-1610? Mr. Copine and Mr. Hudson? Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Number two is petition 23-P-1611. Petitioner HTIMS LP, parcel number 10-13-14-301-008, map amendment from R2 Single Family Residential District to C2 Planned Office and Business District for small equipment sales, service, and repair, Harmon Township. Is there a motion to approve resolution petition 23-P-1611? Mr. Friel, Mr. Hudson. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the next two petitions are switched in order for formality reasons. So bear with me. They'll be backwards on your agenda. Number 4, petition 23-P-1613, petitioner Lee County Zoning Office, parcel number 20-11-23-100-005, revocation of special use Viola Township. Is there a motion to approve the resolution for petition 23-P-1613? Ms. Naylor, Mr. Scrogstead. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Now petition 3. Petition 23-P-1612, petitioner Lee County Zoning Office, parcel number 20-11-23-100-005, map amendment from I-3 industrial heavy industrial district to C-3 general business district, Viola Township. Is there a motion to approve the resolution for petition 23-P-1612? Mr. Friel, Mr. Scrogstad seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. We have, let's see. Excuse me. Petition 23-P-1614. Lee County, petitioner Lee County Zoning Office, parcel number 20-11-23-100-006, revocation of special use Viola Township. Motion to approve resolution petition 23-P-1614. Mr. Scrogstad, Ms. Naylor. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have one petition coming from the Planning Commission. Petition 23-PC-74, petition to amend the text of Lee County Code 10-4, Ag 1 Rural and Agricultural District. Is there a motion to approve the resolution for petition 23-PC-74? Mr. Scrogstad, Mr. Friel. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Administrator monthly update and board member comments. Wendy, do you have anything for us?
I have nothing other than the items that are later on the agenda. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do any board members have any comments? Okay, we have public comments. Items on the agenda, the visitor is allowed 10 minutes. Items not on the agenda, visitor is allowed 5 minutes. First will be George Bruce. Yes, sir. Do you want to speak?
Is this on? Yeah, press it here.
Nope.
Good morning, good afternoon, or whatever it is. I was going to talk about something different, but I have been told that I'm not able to do that. I own the Whitney House with my wife. And I've sent to each board member a 2-page printout of just what I've done at the Whitney House. And if anybody else wants these sheets, I'd be glad to give you the 2 sheets. And I did that just to show the maintenance that we've done on the house and the money that we spent on the house. The house cost us $250. We put another $100,000 in.
George, I'm sorry. We talked earlier. It cannot be on that. It can only be on solar.
I didn't hear you.
You can only speak on solar. We talked, you and I spoke earlier. I'm sorry, we can't let you do that
Okay.
because that's already advised. Thank
Okay.
you. I'm sorry.
Here's a map on solar around our property. I don't know, does anybody want to see this? Where it goes, I think you can see how close it follows our property.
George, I can't let you do that. I'm sorry, but the rules are very clear.
Okay, can I go home?
Yeah, you can do that. I'm sorry.
No, thank
I
you.
apologize, but
I'm not used to
Jake McCoy.
Hi, guys. My name's Jake McCoy. I live at Amboy. The reason that we're here today, we have a cell tower that is being proposed. It has not been submitted yet with the application process, but I'll start from the beginning. Back in April, there was a surveyor that I seen out in the field, and I approached the guy, asked him, what he was doing there, and he said that, this is going to be the future development for a 300-foot cell tower, a 5G tower. And so, I more or less reached out to the landowner, worked with the landowner diligently for a couple months. Everything was discreet. No names were talked about to the point to where I had notification that a application was received by the applicant. But it was time that we had to, talk to people, and I notified the neighbors, what was being proposed in our backyards. And inevitably, we had a meeting with the landowner. There was about 20 of us there. Basically, there was no information provided. It was the same old where I'm trying to get this moved. I'm trying to help you guys. But at the end of the day, there was realistically no help. What the landowner did do, though, he left the proposed 4 locations of the site. And none of those 4 locations, they're not adequate. They're close to homes. Nobody wants them. We have a Facebook site with over 300 people on there. None of the neighbors want this. The city doesn't want it, but we're still kind of fighting, like, why are we in this position? It's a trick bag is what we got thrown into. There's ample room to put this, but it's stuck on one person's land, and there's no reason for it. It can go in many spots, but for some reason, it's just one person. And it's the end of story. At the meeting, he said, it's going to end up on my land. It's not going to anybody else. So that's a problem. So you guys can digest that however you want, but there's many other spots this can go, and there's no reason that it has to be so close to homes. So the four sites that are proposed, they're out. They're no good. They're going to be a fight. We can't move it from one to the other. So there has to be that calculated decision. Where's the best spot to put this where the people want it? We're not trying to shut the tower down. It's just we don't want it so close to residential homes. So, as far as the city's concerned, it limits the residential and commercial growth of the city. The rural characteristics are shot once it's 300 foot tall, right on the edge of town. It's just not right. All of us have property devaluation, because we're going to move. If this goes in, we're out. And many of the neighbors have said the same thing, and it's just not right. And everyone has to take this burden just because one person. So everyone else is out, but one person gets to benefit from it. It's not right. And everyone, I would have to think, you wouldn't want this in your backyard either. It's just not right. So we proposed to the city, and they have 2 board members that are still out. They're going to be back hopefully by the end of the week. But what we propose is the city to put a 1.5 mile barrier around the city. And then in that barrier, we proposed if it would not be closer than 1/3 of a mile to any property. That seems very fair. At the end of the day, the proposed site that the landowner, it's probably not going to work for that person. And he's just going to have to get over it and pass it on to somebody else. There was no feasibility study done. It was basically just, I'm in the position that I can get this, and everybody else has to just deal with it. It's not right. So the state statute has laws on this, but at the end of the day, you guys are all elected to represent us. So you guys need to make the right decision. So, I don't feel like I should get kicked out of my house because of this. So that's it.
Thank you. Mike Hermas.
My name is Mike Hermas. I'm Jake's next door neighbor. We're all fighting this. I know of 6 residences that have mentioned that they're moving. They're going to sell if this goes through. Obviously, our property values will drop immensely, and the only benefit would be the person that's doing the cell tower. Everybody else is going to lose. And, all of us have our homes the way we want them. We've all done a lot of projects. We move, you're starting that all back. I have my kids that have kids have said that this goes in, we don't get to watch our kids over the weekend, because somebody wants to get the benefit from the cell tower. We don't get to see our grandkids. And obviously, we want to see our grandkids, we're going to move. it's just putting out everybody in a bad position, and we just want everybody to know where we're standing. Thanks.
Thank you. Mark Wagner, did you want to speak something other than the Whitney House?
No.
Okay, then I can't let you. You can speak about solar, but you can't talk about that project.
I had one brief paragraph. What can't I say?
You can't talk about the Whitney House project.
Well, that's
Because that
where,
hearing's been held and the board's already heard all the information on it. By direction of the state's attorney, we can't let you do it.
I can't say anything whatsoever at all about it.
Correct.
Not one little paragraph. That's all I have. I mean, I'm not introducing any new evidence. You spoke in a committee meeting to the petitioner last month, and they have said something that is in the newspaper today that is incorrect, and I just wanted to correct it.
The board is sitting as though if you think about a jury, you would not go in a jury room after the trial had ceased for the jury and talk to them. And that's where the board's at. That's why the last time we misspoke and let someone speak, we had to do that at the committees then. So we cannot let you talk about it.
Well, I'm not going to talk about the committee.
No, you can't talk about the Whitney House.
Can I talk about the land around it?
Charlie?
It's one teeny little paragraph.
Okay, you can talk about the land around it, but you can't enter any new evidence.
Okay, I just want to say that as is being put forth by the proponents of this project, they're only seeing the historical value as being the house. However, as a local historian, the historical value is the property around it, which has to be considered. That is arable land. It was arable land when the Whitneys put their orchard there, very famous orchard back in the 1800s. And I would just like the board to take into consideration, don't get swayed by thinking that only the house and the architecture is what counts. We locally, we see this as being a landmark, a local landmark. It's not just the house, it's the orchards, the land around it that was arable then, and it's still arable, and we'd like to keep it that way for our history. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Gary Wilhelm?
I didn't plan a speech, but I'm going to think of something here. I know some of you. I don't know all of you. I know every one of you would not want a U.S. Cellular or any tower, 5G, 300 foot in your backyard. We're asking for you guys to consider that. I know many of you would not want that. I've lived in Amboy my whole life. I'm very, very, very involved with the community. And I'm not looking to move. It's the last thing I want to do. I'm not looking to divide a community. We have the landowner is a friend. He's a good person. He's a very well-known person. But understanding, as your positions here, you need to focus on what is being presented and proposed. And all we ask is you to support Amboy as the city council, as the members in Amboy, the residents in Amboy. Nobody wants this, and we need the county to back us on this and vote no, and that's all we ask. We will take it the next step further, because everybody acts like, well, it's not the city, it's not the county. It is. It's the people that live in this county, and all we need is your help, support, and vote no. Period. You don't have to tell anybody why. You don't have to explain, but you have to understand, if you were in the same position, what would you do? Help us. Thank you.
Thank you. Kyle Schoenholm?
Kyle Shinholtz, local
Sorry.
farmer. Lee County, neighbor to Mike and Jake. They are proposing this cell tower to go right in basically my backyard. And just want to say I'm against it. I know the person who owns the land. We do some work together. So I'm not here to bash anybody, but I'm just saying, hopefully we can resolve this without storming the Capitol, you know, and I think we can. It's just going to take some time, but I'm totally against it. Thanks.
Thank you. Robert Moore.
I'd just like to say, I've been near one of these towers. I worked in front of one for about 30 minutes, painting poles down in Chicago. Me and 3 guys on the crew were sick for 3 days, headaches, nausea. It's bad. Now they propose to put one on top of a residential neighborhood in a neighborhood where I moved to get away from the city and all the crap there and all the bullshit politics. And now here we are, gonna have a tower put right up against residential area. It's bad. There's kids there. There's babies that sleep there. There's people, everybody says, oh, well, you got a microwave or you got a cell phone. You're not standing next to it 24/7. If it was in your yard, you wouldn't want it. So I beg with you, vote no on this. That's all I have to say. This is not good. There's no studies anywhere that says it's good. Every study you can find shows you it's bad. The only ones that are saying there's no problem is US Cellular. Why? Because they got us all hooked in our phone. Oh, we got more bars. Oh, aren't we lucky? But meanwhile, everybody's getting their brains cooked by the microwaves they're pushing off. I don't want it. If you want it in your yard, have them come and put it there. But I don't want it in my yard. I don't want it 5 miles from me. And I ask you, please vote no on this. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all the papers we have. Is there anybody else from the public who would like to speak at this time? Yes, ma'am. Will you please state your name when you...
My name is Kelly Regan Robery. I'm a resident of Franklin Grove, so I really don't have a dog in this fight. But I asked the board to think about, for the benefit of one individual to get $12,000 and change a year, you are going to put the health and well-being of many, if not all the residents of Amboy at risk. I hope you can sleep at night if you vote yes for this proposed cell tower. Thank you.
Okay. First, I'm going to say to you, we appreciate you being here. We appreciate your involvement in what's going on with county government. At this time, there is no petition pulled for that cell phone tower. I know your concerns. I understand them. But until a permit is pulled and it goes to the zoning board, this board has no authority to do anything. So I've asked Alice from the zoning department to please walk you through the steps that take place, because if I do it, I know I'll miss something. It's her daily job. But remember that you have a right to appear at the hearings. It's like a court of law. You'll be sworn in, you can testify, you can ask questions, and it's something that you really want to do if and when a permit gets pulled, because until then, there's nothing we can do. But Alice, please.
Good evening. Like Tom said, the Lee County has not yet received a petition for a special use permit for this cell tower. In order for it to come into Lee County, it will have to apply for a special use permit, which requires a public hearing. Once the petition is received, the county will have 30 days to hear the petition and 75 days to vote on the petition. Notification requirements for special use petitions are set forth by the state. The statute requires publication of notice of the public hearing in a local newspaper, a minimum of 15 days prior to the public hearing. Additionally, notice must be mailed to adjacent property owners by certified mail, a minimum of 15 days prior to the hearing. The public hearing will take place before the Zoning Board of Appeals. The ZBA will hear and consider all evidence presented during the public hearing. It will then make a recommendation to the county board as to whether the petition shall be approved or denied. The public hearing is the proper forum for hearing the concerns of the public. It is at that time that the petitioner will present testimony and evidence. The public will have an opportunity to ask questions of the petitioner, present factual and relevant evidence and/or testimony, and provide a public statement in support or against the proposed project. An independent hearing facilitator will be present at the public hearing to oversee the proceedings. His duties will be to ensure that the public hearing is lawfully conducted in an orderly fashion. Any member of the public wishing to weigh in on this matter will be guaranteed the right to be heard at the public hearing, so long as he or she remains respectful. And that is essentially a summary of the hearing procedure. Once the zoning board hears all the evidence, they will give a recommendation and it will come to this board for final decision.
Thank you, Alice. And again, we do sincerely appreciate everybody coming and being here to see what goes on in government. I know it's not maybe the best reason you want to be here, but we appreciate you being here to see this.
We appreciate all that. We're just being proactive.
Yep, and that's fine. That's
the point of this.
That's why we want to take a few minutes and let Alice explain that process. Because so many times we hear people say, I didn't know what to do, we didn't hear it. So now we were able to give you that information early on to be prepared, okay? But there is no permit at this time, so we have nothing we can do about it right now. We do have a small housekeeping issue, I'm sorry. I think it's my inexperience in being up here, but we need to go back to petition 23-P-74. That had to be held over for a month and we passed it. So I'd like to make a motion to reconsider that motion for petition 23-PC-74.
Where's that at?
Mr. Hudson, Mr. Sheeline seconds it. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It passes, thank you. Then we need to make a motion to hold over petition 53-PC-74. So there's a motion. Thank you, Nancy and Dean. Is there any discussion? I'll hold it over. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I apologize for that error. Charlie got it straightened out. Okay, the county organization presentation and updates. We'd like to welcome Carla Belzer, the meeting tonight, to be sharing some updates on the University of Illinois Extension.
Hello, good evening, everyone. It's been a little while since I've been to the board to give an update about what is happening with Illinois Extension, and I'm thrilled to be here tonight with so many members of our county so we can talk about the great things that we're doing in our county. So just by means of introduction, since we have so many people here, my name is Carla Belzer. I'm the county director for the University of Illinois Extension. We are part of the land grant system here in Illinois and actually across the country that seeks to provide educational opportunities to benefit the citizens of the counties where they reside. So based on our needs assessment that we do every year, we addressed priority issues in our areas, and the priority issues that Illinois Extension is working on in Lee County include chronic disease prevention and management, social emotional health, food access, thriving youth, and workforce preparedness and advancement. So all of our programming and educational efforts center around those priority issues as identified by the needs that we see going on in our county. So as always, I like to update you on some things that we've done and some things that are coming up so you can see how we really are impacting Lee County residents for the better. So I always like to start with our Thriving Youth. That's our 4-H program. 4-H, I don't know if anyone in the room has been in 4-H, but if you have, we are glad that you're a proud alumni of 4-H. And hopefully you had a great experience. But one thing that 4-H aims to do is to really grow young leaders. So someday those youth might be sitting in these seats. And we do that by giving them a variety of experiences and a variety of opportunities to learn things that they might not necessarily get in school or in other educational opportunities. So just a few things that we've been up to that I just want to draw your attention to. And I sent a whole bunch of flyers. There's a great report from one of our youth development educators But in the last several months, we had a multi-county dog show here in Granny Rose, and I've spoke to the board before how that facility, we have a wonderful partnership with them. Not only do we draw residents from and participants from our regional counties, but the state of Illinois 4-H dog show is held there every August. So we're really proud to have that and to draw visitors into our great county. Additional things that have been happening in the Lee County 4-H program, the Lee County Ag Day is held at the end of every school year, where all fifth graders in the county come out to the fairgrounds and participate in different hands-on science learning sessions. So that's presented by Illinois Extension and various other organizations in the community. So we reach a lot of youth in that program. Our embryology project, if you have a youngster in a school, we are in about 20 schools in Lee County, reaching about 500 youth with our embryology, which is the chick incubators every spring. And you might think, oh, that's great that they get the opportunity to see chicks hatch. And yes, our children learn about the life cycle and all of those good things, but it also offers an opportunity to develop some social emotional skills, some caring, some empathy. Not all chicks come out the same color or with the same abilities. So there's some diversity that can happen as well in those learning opportunities. We've also have recently offered camp. Locally, we had 7 Lee County youth participate in a week-long 4-H camp where they practice leadership skills and engage in positive youth development activities. We had 1 counselor from Lee County as well at that camp. So they had a great time learning lots of different things. So coming up, I would invite everyone in this room, to come out to the Lee County Fair, which starts next week, July 27th through the 30th, out at the 4-H Center. Obviously, there's lots of great things going on with the Lee County Fair and the great work that board does, but it's also a great opportunity to see exactly what our youth are up to in the county and what projects they're working on and how they're developing skills that will really benefit them throughout their life, both personally and professionally. So in the packet, there is some information about the Lee County Fair if you're interested. Regarding our food access efforts, we have had several garden support here in the county. One of the most notable ones is at Emmanuel Lutheran in Dixon. We have a record of 15 youth signed up for that program. They meet once a week where they grow their own produce. And then we have a corresponding program where in the off season, they actually work in the kitchen to learn how to cook that produce. And they learn knife skills and cutting and measuring and all those great things. So youth will have the opportunity to show their produce at the Lee County Fair. So again, another reason to come on out. The Master Gardeners have had a plant sell. Our Master Naturalists had a training out at Franklin Creek. There is also an upcoming Master Gardener training that starts September 12th. And that's, again, a great way for people to get involved locally with some of our volunteer programs. So finally, before I wrap up, I just wanted to add that we have added an additional youth development educator to our unit. So we have 2 educators that are working on youth development, thriving youth issues. This is really going to help us expand our reach to all parts of the county. So we're very excited about that. And then finally, probably the prettiest part of your packet is our annual report. I encourage you to take a look at it. It is really challenging to pick just a few select stories that highlight all of the impact that we're having in our 3 counties, because I serve Carroll, Lee, and Whiteside. But I do want to highlight a few things in the booklet that pertain to Lee County specifically. So there is an article on the Lee County Homemakers. That is our home and community education unit. If you don't know the history, they've been around for 93 years. These group of women provided a lot of volunteer service and community service to the residents of the county. And just this year, because they're getting older, as we all are, they decided to retire their organization. So we have a lovely article on on that. There's an article about our junior gardener program, which I just previously mentioned. We did have one 4-H'er that actually advanced to the state level last year and received a champion ribbon for the produce that she grew in our garden with the help of the master gardeners. There's an article about our embryology program, which I encourage you to read, an article about our phone in expert service that we offer, where homeowners, landowners can call our office and ask any question they have about anything that grows or any insect that they might have on their property, which is a really valuable service. Our Lee County Master Gardeners have also been working with Mississippi Center's Recovery Home for women in Amboy. So there's a great article on the impact that that program is having. And then finally, an article on the mental health programming that we're doing. I am a trained facilitator in mental health first aid. We do a class about once a month that teaches lay people how to respond to mental health concerns or increasing mental health concerns for people in their lives. So we work with professionals and just really anyone who wants to know how to support people with mental health concerns. So thank you for your time. I always appreciate getting to come and tell you about all the great things that we're doing. But if you ever have any questions about extension, please reach out to me. I'm happy to answer any questions, even tonight. I always love to talk about the great things that we're doing. So before I step down, are there any questions or any feedback that you have? All right. Well, I hope to see you all out at the fair. Hopefully this weather would be perfect, but of course it will be 90 degrees and humidity, but it wouldn't be a fair in Illinois without that. So again, thank you for your time and have a good evening.
Thank you, Carla. And I hope you inspired most of these people to come.
Oh, good. Please do.
Reports of standing committees, county services, Mr. Scruggs did.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd just like to take the opportunity too to thank all the people that came today. This is really an awesome deal to see the public come in and be part of the government process. I think more people in Illinois need to wake up, and not only when it deals with 5G towers, but with everything that involves the citizens of Illinois. So I hope you continue to be involved in your government and what's going on. So I applaud you for showing up today and speaking your piece. And make sure that when you see things going on, you not only reach out to your representatives and your senators to tell them what you think about what else is going on in the state of Illinois. So with that. All right, Mr. Chair, County Services met July 10th. We had a lot going on, and what I had all the department heads for my committee was to provide a written report, and that has been included in the agenda packet. So without having to read everything that was said, I'm just going to leave it for the members here and the public for when it becomes available online to go and take a look at and see what all of our department heads and the different parts of our county are doing and how they're improving the services for Lee County. So it's all on the agenda. If you'd like to take a look at it when you have the time. Any questions?
Questions for Jack? Thank you, Mr. Scruggs did.
Thank you.
Public Safety and Court Services Committee, Mr. Copine.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Public Safety met the 10th also. And for briefness, the department head reports are there and available from the website in the packet of information governing those comments or reports. The only thing we had action taken on was the Lee County Safety Manual draft. We talked about that briefly, and motion was made, and it was passed at the level of public safety and was forwarded on to the executive. That's all I have.
Any questions for Mike? Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Facilities and Maintenance Committee, Mr. Wilson is not here. Mr. Friel.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. We had a brief meeting on whatever day it was. I'm sorry. The 10th. Few items, the project at the new courthouse, the heating and cooling numbers, estimates and stuff are still in the process, so we don't have any firm numbers or anything. Our new facilities director, Jeff Hilden, is hitting the ground running. He's got tons of things to do, but he's going to be a huge asset to us. Most of the other stuff is covered in your packet. So does anybody have any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Friel. Claims Committee, Mr. Zeman.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The committee met June 21st at 9 a.m. next door. We reviewed 52 claims. We forwarded 51 to the full county board. One claim was rejected back to the department head for redirection. And that's it for that meeting. We also met on July 5th at 9 a.m. We went over 40 claims and passed all 40 on to the full county board. And that was it.
Any questions for Mike? Thank you, Mr. Zeman. Finance Committee, Mr. Sheeline.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Finance Committee met last Thursday, and information is in your packet. I gave a fairly extensive Finance Committee report. If there's any questions on the finances of the county, you can entertain, I'll answer whatever I can. Next week, we start the budgets process. We all look forward to budget, and this one's going to be a fun one and a challenging one for the Finance Committee. Encourage, of course, all the county board members and any of the public that would like to attend our hearings. And so that's about all I've got. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions for Jim? Thank you, Mr. Sheeline. Executive Committee, the minutes are in the agenda packet. If there's any questions, I'll try to answer them. And for those of you who are guests and spectators, all these things are online. If you'd like to go and look at them, the things that we say are in the packets are online. You can always look at it and know more what's going on. Reports of other committees and appointments. Board of Health, Ms. White.
Thank you, Vice Chair. The Board of Health met on the 11th at 6:30 at the County Health Department. The minutes are in the packet, just some couple updates. The state did their lead testing, and all of the towns in our county were high except Sublette. Home visits are increasing because of COVID. Obviously, there are more home visits are increasing with the less increase of COVID. So that increases the visits of the staff. So obviously their travel and staff and rises up as well. We have a 12% increase in our client base. Our schools' sports physicals have gone up as well. We're still offering the bivalent vaccine if anyone is interested in that. And an interesting fact as well is in regards to our infectious diseases, we have a very increase in chlamydia on the rise. So just be aware of that. Our next meeting will be on September 12th at the Health Department at 6:30. If anyone has any questions, please let me know.
Any questions for Katie? Thank you, Katie. 911 Board, Mr. Hudson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I must have to say I do agree with Mr. Scrogstad's opening statement. I feel it's important for all our Lee County residents to be involved, at least in tune with what's going on. And as Mr. Chair just said, that all this is online, so it's really great for if you all want to find out what's going on. It's right there for you. You don't have to attend the meetings, but it's right there, and they'll answer a lot of questions that you may have. Another thing is all county meetings are open to the public, not just county board, zoning board of appeals, planning commissions, and you'll find out a lot of things is going on, different special permit issues, whatever, and you'll find out a lot of your answers could be answered at that time. But it's a great opportunity for everybody to find out what's going on. Other than that, Mr. Chair, the 911 committee, we did not have a meeting in June. Therefore, there is no agenda packet. But County Facilities Maintenance Committee member Dean Field did meet with Director Dallas regarding the concrete wall between the old Law Enforcement Center and 911 building and cost to restructure the wall discussed with proposals forthcoming. There was a high call of volumes with June and July recording high in the fire EMS incidents. Our next ETSB meeting will be next Thursday, July 27th at 3:30 PM at the Lee County 911 Center. That is all I have, sir.
Any questions for Mr. Hudson? Thank you, Keen. Tourism, Mr. Gascoigne.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I attended the Lee County Tourism Council's monthly meeting last week, and we discussed many of the ways in which they're promoting Lee County through various print and social media. And they're tracking the numbers on the social media, and their numbers of hits on the social media sites have been increasing by sometimes as much as 10%. So they're doing a very good job at promoting Lee County.
Any questions for Ron? Thank you, Mr. Gascoigne. Tri-County Opportunities Council, Ms. Shippert.
Thank you, Vice Chair. There is the meeting minutes in the agenda packet as well. There's quite a few services available to the public through the Tri-County Opportunities Council, and those are found at tcochelps.org. And that's all I have for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Angie? Thank you, Ms. Shippert. And then Black Hawk Hills Regional Council, Lee County Ogle Enterprise Zone, Ms. Shippert again.
Thank you. We have not had a recent meeting for the BHRC. We will be meeting this coming Monday. Thank you.
Thank you, Angie. Lee County Industrial Development Association, Mr. Ekry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. LCIDA did not meet in July, but we will be meeting next August 9th. So look forward to that meeting.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Reed? Thank you, Reed. Counties of Illinois Risk Management, Mr. Zeman?
No meeting, so no report.
Thank you, Mike. UCCI, the minutes are from the last meeting are in your agenda packet. There is a leadership conference in August for anybody who wants to attend it. Becky said tomorrow she would email everybody a copy of that paperwork if anybody wants to attend. Illinois Association of County Board Members, Mr. Copine.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Illinois County Association of County Board Members does not meet on a monthly basis. Their general meeting pertains to Senate or House bills that are being submitted for consideration for approval. There is information available on our committee on the webpage if you have any questions. Wendy and I normally get notification. I get a bulletin every month. I'm sure Wendy does too. Wendy, do you have anything that you'd like to add?
I do not have any further update. Thanks, Mike.
If anybody has any questions, I'll try to do my best to answer them, but it's interesting to see how these Senate and House bills are being introduced, who introduces them. IACBM meets primarily with the county board members that participate in this group. We go over the bills. Kelly Murray, who's the executive director of the organization, is at the helm, and I don't know how the woman does it, but she does a fantastic job of directing the particular Senate or House bills to the county that may have the most impact on it. What we do as a committee then is go over those bills. We have three potential actions to be taken. We either support, not support, or we remain neutral on the support of those bills. And this organization carries a considerable amount of influence when it comes time for legislature to pass or not pass any of these bills. It's an interesting process. It's a long-going process. But you can see how our bills are being passed, who submits them, and how they're being passed. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Any questions for Mr. Copine? Thank you. Unfinished business. Okay. A is petition 23-PC-72, text amendment to 10-15-15, wind energy system was held over in June. Is there a motion to approve petition 23-PC-72. Mr. Krogstad, Ms. Naylor? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now similarly, petition 23-PC-73, text amendment to 10-15-20, solar energy systems held over in June. Is there a motion to approve petition 23-PC-73? Mr. Hudson, Mr. Friel? Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Ordinance C, ordinance revision, Lee County Hotel Motel tax held over in May and tabled in June. I'm going to let Wendy talk a little bit about this.
Thank you, Tom. So we've been talking about this actually for several months, but just to recap and bring everybody up to speed, we've had a 4-member focus group that has been working on finding a way to maintain a tourism in Lee County here as a result of the change that happened when the city of Dixon said they no longer wanted to participate in an intergovernmental agreement with regard to the hotel tax. So in the past, we've collected hotel tax from every hotel in the county, and then we would split that 50-50 with the city. They are withdrawing from that. They wish to collect their own tax. So that ended up resulting, of course, in a significant reduction to the income that we saw from the hotel tax. So there's been a small focus group that's been working on making changes to still maintain a tourism program, albeit a completely reformatted tourism program. What you see in front of you is the ordinance that needs to be revised and readopted. The prior ordinance included that language that said we would collect the money and give 50% to the city of Dixon and 50% would go to Lee County Tourism. And again, obviously that needs to change. This will take effect effective as of November 30th. Bigger picture, later on the agenda, you're going to see a memorandum of understanding between Lee County and Lee County Tourism as a result of the changes that are taking place and the loss of the revenue from that hotel tax. Lee County Tourism is on target now to dissolve by the end of this year. The memorandum of understanding that's later on your agenda essentially lays out the provisions between the county and Lee County Tourism as to how we are going to actually go through the process of dissolving and then taking, Lee County will take and retain the records for a certain period of time back. And according to the original bylaws of Lee County Tourism when it was developed, should Lee County Tourism ever dissolve for any reason, all assets would come back to Lee County. So the memorandum of understanding is just working through that process and who's going to do what. And at the end of this 1-year process, or excuse me, at the end of this year, what's going to come back to us versus what steps need to be taken. So you've got 2 things on your agenda regarding this. The first is the ordinance that was tabled in May, as a matter of fact, and then the memorandum will be coming up later. I'd be happy to take any questions if anyone has any.
Okay, thank you, Wendy. So is there a motion to take the revised Lee County Hotel Motel tax ordinance off the table? Mr. Bivens, Mr. Friel? Any discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Then is there a motion to approve the revised Lee County Hotel Motel tax ordinance? Mr. Gascoigne? Ms. Naylor? Okay, any discussion there? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Go down to D, 2023 Best Incorporated Lease Agreement was tabled in June. Wendy, do you want to give a little update on that to the board?
I will. So we have an agreement with Best Incorporated to lease out some space here, actually right behind this wall. They've been leasing that from the county for a number of years now. We were at the point of renewing that lease. We renew it each year. And the project that is potentially going to be constructed across the street, the HVAC system, there was a concern that if we need to vacate courtrooms over there, or if we need the space for any reason during that large construction project next summer, that we may in fact need to use this room as a potential courtroom, which means we're going to need the space behind here. So after conversation with BEST representatives and the executive committee and the chairman, I did revise the lease, and what you see in front of you now tonight is a 6-month lease. That lease the term of the lease will take us through December 31st. After that point in time, we're going to go month to month. We are not sure when the project will start across the street, and we're not sure what we'll need, but this will give us plenty of time to plan ahead when we get the equipment across the street, and we can determine what space we need and renovate or repurpose the space prior to that project taking place next summer. So again, 6-month term. After that, we go month to month. And there is a provision in there where we will give, or they will give us, a 90 days notice if we do need them to vacate the space. BEST has agreed to this, and in fact, they very much appreciate that we're giving them essentially 6 months notice. So they're going to start looking at some other options. Since I'm on the topic of BEST, actually, though, I will reiterate that over the years, we have had many collaborations with BEST. One of which is of course, Jonathan joined us through the BEST program. We currently have a janitorial person right now in this building filling a gap through BEST programs, which means they pay the salary and we, essentially train and build a person's career technique. They also just recently vacated a space in town here and had some really good used furniture that they offered to the county for no charge if we would just move it out of their space. So you may have noticed on the second floor, there's a bunch of furniture piled up because we went and got the furniture. And I believe the treasurer's office is going to be repurposing all of that in the next few months when things settle down for them. But I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you to BEST for all of the collaborations that we've had from them, not necessarily just because they were in this building, but they've been really good partners to work with, and I want to thank them for that. With that said, Tom, I don't have anything else unless anybody has any questions.
Any questions for Wendy on this? Okay, is there a motion to take the 2023 BEST Incorporated lease agreement tabled in June off the table? Mr. Bivens, Ms. Naylor? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is there a motion to approve the revised BEST Incorporated lease agreement as just explained? Mr. Gascoigne and Mr. Friel. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Now E, petition 23-P-1606, Amboy, Illinois Solar One LLC, parcel number 06-09-12-400-003, special use for community solar energy system, Franklin Grove Township, was tabled in June. The county would like this topic to remain on the table because we're waiting for recommendation from the State Historical Preservation Office. Are there any objections? Okay, thank you.
Hey, Mr. Kitson, could you explain more about what information we'll get from them?
Thank you, Angie. Alice? I cannot. Alice will. She attended the meeting. Thank you. Thanks for asking.
Yesterday, I attended an online meeting that was conducted by the State Historic Preservation Office. It's called a consulting party meeting, which they're allowed to conduct under the Illinois State Agency Historic Resources Preservation Act. At this meeting were representatives for the developer, as well as their legal counsel, representatives from third-party consultant that performed the historical studies, as well as 4 members of the State Historic Preservation Office, and Kim Nilsson, who is the daughter of Mr. Bruce, who owns the Whitney home, was also present. During this meeting, the third-party consultant walked the State Historic Preservation Office through their method of coming to their findings. Ms. Nielsen was given an opportunity to voice her concerns regarding the project. Mr. Robano with the State Historic Preservation Office informed Ms. Nielsen that their job is not to stop a project. It is to identify adverse effects on a project and then recommend mitigation of those adverse effects. They are still conducting their review of this project. They said they will be taking further statements from the third-party consultant as well as Ms. Nielsen. And they estimate about 2 to 3 weeks for that review. Any questions?
Once they make a determination, how will the board receive this information?
That I need to talk to Charlie about. I am not sure the process because we've already had a public hearing. I'm not quite sure.
Okay, thank you, Alice.
Yep.
And it will, excuse me, it will get to the board and be transmitted so that we know what's going on and can take a vote on this. It's the only thing holding us up right now from a vote, correct? So by next month, we should know something, correct?
Yes.
I should be able to end this for everybody.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Alice. Thanks, Angie, for the question. Okay, new business, Lee County Safety Manual. Here's a motion to approve the Lee County Safety Manual. Mr. Hudson, Mr. Copine. Is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, B is the MOU or the Memorandum of Understanding for Lee County Tourism. I think Wendy kind of explained that already. If there's any questions, we can ask her to go over that. Otherwise, is there a motion to approve the Memorandum of Understanding with Lee County Tourism? Mr. Friel, Mr. Grogted, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, the contract with Chastain and Associates. Alice, I'm going to ask you to, we should have just got you a chair by the microphone.
All right. Under the conditions approved under the special use permit granted to the GSG Wind Farm Repower allows the county to contract with a third-party engineer who will oversee the construction of the project at the expense of the developer. That is what this contract will make effective.
Are there any questions? Okay, is there a motion to approve the, is there a motion to approve the contract with Chastain and Associates? Mr. Friel, Mr. Scrugstead? Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we have one appointment. Resolution reappointment of Wesley Engelhardt as trustee of the Compton Community Fire Protection District. Is there a motion to approve the reappointment of Wesley Engelhardt as trustee of the Compton Fire Protection District? Mr. Friel, Mr. Acree, sorry. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Executive session, we have nothing for executive session tonight. Approval of county officers' reports, quarterly treasury report. Their motion to approve the county officers' reports. Ms. Naylor, Mr. Copine. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Approval of monthly review report, revenue report, claims paid, and claims paid in vacation and payroll. Is there a motion for the review of those reports? Mr. Friel? Mr. Gascoigne? Nope, I'm sorry. We need a roll call vote. Nancy, please.
Was it Frio and Gascoigne or no?
Yeah.
Gascoigne,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Copine,
Yes.
Minimi,
Yes.
Naylor,
Yes.
Pearson,
Yes.
Robertson,
Yes.
Sheline,
Yes.
Shippert,
Yes.
Scrogstad,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Zeman,
Yes.
Akery,
Yes.
Bivens,
Yes.
Book,
Yes.
Friel,
Yes.
Kitson.
Yes. Approval of board member mileage and per diem. Is there a motion to approve the board member mileage and per diem? Mr. Bivens, Mr. Friel. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. If we've got nothing else, again, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, being part of this meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn? Wow, now I get hands up. Mr. Friel, Ms. White. All those in favor?
Aye.